welcome back to another Shared News from Home. We are live today to talk all the latest in Bachelor Nation. As always, I am your host, Fiona Zaring, joined by the wonderful Avery Grooms and Zachary Reality. You guys, it has already been such a crazy week in Bachelor Nation. I want to check in. Avery, how are you doing?
Great. I'm doing better now that we got through the first episode of Katie's season. I was highly anticipating that, but so far so good. I'm just excited for the rest of her journey.
Same. Zachary, what are
Yes.
your thoughts so far this week?
Bachelor Nation never sleeps. And this week specifically, with the Chris Harrison news, all the new hosts, Bachelor in Paradise spoilers are out, as well as the premiere of Katie's season. I mean, Bachelor Nation has not stopped, and I have been keeping up with everything, so I'm really excited to dish.
Same. All right, let's just get started because we truly have so much to cover today. We're going to kick it off with another Matt and Rachael update. Clearly, they are still moving forward with their relationship since the last time the three of us chatted, which is great news. Another happy couple. They're currently visiting his hometown, and Matt's actually been documenting it on his social media. He's been showing her around all of his favorite spots, and she's posted as well. She shared one on her story that said, "It took me to his favorite spot, just a little excited." During this trip, they actually also went to a hockey game with his mom, and she shared some adorable photos of the three of them together on her Instagram, which I think is really sweet. You guys, these were some pretty big steps forward. Spending time with his mother, visiting where he grew up. I mean, they just keep getting more and more serious. Avery, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. They keep getting more serious, and I feel like from this point out, it just keeps getting better and better for them. Trips home are a huge deal. So, like, we know it's official. Last week, he met the best friend and his girlfriend, and it keeps going all up from here. So, I'm just expecting more and more from them for the weeks to come.
Means that could trip family or future for them too?
I mean, this is the hometown date we did not know we needed. Like, they finally got that hometown date. I wish it was documented and filmed. I hope that as the general public gets to know them a lot better and like them as a couple, maybe they'll start a YouTube channel in a couple years. I know I really love Lauren and Ari on YouTube, and I would love to get to know Matt and Rachael a little bit more. So maybe they can start a YouTube channel and vlog their lives, because I think a lot of people are really coming around for them as a couple.
Yes, I think that would be so fun. Listen, the sky is the limit. We can keep our fingers crossed, just see what's happening. You guys, we want to know your thoughts in the chat on Matt and Rachael with these huge, big steps they're taking. Let us know what you think of them as a couple. And by the way, if you are tuning in live with us for the very first time, make sure you hit subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future lives or any future Bachelor updates from us. I know Zachary kind of mentioned this, but we've got a lot of Bachelor in Paradise updates. Let's get into these, you guys, because honestly, it's what I'm most excited to talk about. We did know that David Spade was going to be one of many celebrities heading to Paradise this season to take on that hosting role, and we finally have some answers as to who else is going to be joining him there. Variety is reporting that deals have closed for, wait for it, Lil Jon, Titus Burgess, and Lance Bass. What an eclectic group. I just literally immediately need to know your thoughts on this, Zachary.
I'm not surprised that Lance Bass is there. I feel like he's really found his way to integrate into every single reality show over the past couple of years, between Vanderpump Rules and The Circle, now The Bachelor. So I'm not surprised that he's there. Titus, I'm not too familiar with, but I know that he is a hilarious comic. So I'm glad that he is there as well. I think he'll bring a lot of fun to the show. And Little John is kind of a curveball, but I feel like it might fit in a weird way. No, I'm lying. I think it's really random. It seems like it's a little bit of a mess, but isn't that what we want to see in Paradise?
Yeah, I mean, here's my thoughts. It's either going to really work or it's going to be so absurd and we're all just going to be confused. And I'm really hoping, I feel like producers, there's always a method to the madness. I mean, Avery, can you see this working for you? All of these different personalities coming in at different moments?
See, I don't know. This all sounds fun and all, but I feel like this is going to be a little bit too much and maybe take away from the cast members. I just don't know. Like you said, there's a method to the madness, so I'm going to have to see how they navigate all these new hosts. But to me, I feel like it would be almost better to just have one celebrity host and have them do the full run of the show. But then again, I guess I have to see it to judge off of that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we talked a lot about how Katie sees it is going to be a bit of a reset, right? It's sort of make or break. There's a lot of people looking for something new, hoping for a really, really solid Bachelorette season. And I feel like with so many changes coming to Paradise, they're kind of putting this in the same boat, right? They're making all of these wide sweeping changes. It's got to work. They've got to charm people, get people on board, or they're going to lose more fans, which I don't think they want. So again, glass half full, we're going to try to assume that the producers know exactly what they're doing. We talked about Wells because a lot of us here at Share News were hoping to see Wells take on a bigger role this season. And then, of course, the news came out that it looks like him and Sarah Hyland will be appearing in Paradise. Variety is reporting now that they certainly will be on the show, but their deals have not officially closed and their roles are undisclosed at this time. Variety reached out to ABC for some clarification and they're saying no comment right now. So the Wells and Sarah role is still a little up in the air. In addition to that couple, Reality Steve is saying that Nick Viall and his girlfriend may also be in Paradise. So I'm curious what you guys can imagine between, like, imagine we've got Little John, Nick Viall, and his girlfriend. Like, what is this multi-couple comedian dynamic gonna look like in your opinion, Avery?
See, that in itself is already a huge chaotic show. But then we have to focus on, the members of the cast. Like, I feel like they might get lost in midst of all this. But it's very interesting that Nick Viall is also joining because he somehow finds a way to be involved in literally anything with the Bachelor name attached to it. So I'm just curious of what he'll be doing. I'm sure he might be like a mentor or just somehow getting his 2 cents in there. But I really hope Wells sticks to his bartending gig because I feel like everyone loves him as that. And as far as Sarah goes, I don't really know. Maybe she'll be joining Wells as a bartender. Maybe she'll just be in and out with the girls. It's really hard to say because they have a whole other show going on at this rate, also along with the cast members.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. For a second, I thought, okay, well, maybe they'll stick like the comedian behind the bar and have like a couple, like a Bachelor couple, kind of holding down that hosting, mentoring, advice role each episode. I mean, I agree with Avery, Zachary. It feels kind of like too much chaos at this point. Do you feel like there's a natural structure that they could step into here with all these people?
It's definitely chaos. I wonder if the contestants are more excited about this because they have all of these celebrities coming in. That might make the show a little bit more exciting for them. But I want to see Wells is in front of the bartender. I feel like that will provide some type of familiarity and some structure. And Avery, I totally feel you with the Nick Viall comment. Like, he really does just like find his way. But I also feel like Nick is a staple in Bachelor Nation. I do want to give credit where credit is due. He's definitely one of the most popular contestants that's ever been on the show. So I think having him there might provide a little bit of structure. And I don't know why they just can't find one celebrity host the entire time. Like, we don't need a new host every 2 weeks. Like, what is Little John possibly going to say? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me, but I'm watching and I have popcorn ready.
I am with you both for sure. We want to know your thoughts on all the celebrities coming to the beach, the potential Nick Viall appearance on the beach. Let us know in the chat because we want to hear your opinions and we're going to try to get to as many of your questions, your comments as we can at the end of the stream as always. So let us know if you're into this or if you think it's going to be a hot mess. Next up, in addition to that hosting update, Reality Steve has revealed his list of contestants to expect in Paradise. Now, I try to avoid spoilers, but honestly, to me, just knowing who's going to be there doesn't feel too much like a spoiler, but I do just want to call it out. I know there might be some people out there who are totally pure. They don't want to know anything at all until ABC releases it. So we are about to dive into that sort of spoiler list of potential names from Steve. To kick things off, we're going to kind of break it up into what season the people are coming from. So let's start with Peter's season. According to Steve, we're going to be seeing Kelsey, Victoria P, Tammy, Deandra. I don't remember how you say this name, so I apologize because I think I'm going to botch the pronunciation. Mauricia, maybe? McKenna, Alexa, and Natasha. Now, some of those ladies I totally remember, and some of them I'm honestly struggling with, and Peter's season was not that long ago. Do any of these names excite you, Zachary? Do you have any strong yays, nays, anyone you're bummed that's coming?
You know, it seems like a lot of the really big it girls, like Victoria F and Kelsey and Kelly and Hannah Ann, are not going to Paradise, which is really upsetting because we would have loved to see those girls. A lot of the girls who are going, especially from Peter's season, were eliminated very early, are extremely unforgettable and almost irrelevant. So I don't really know if it's because all the chaos with Paradise that a lot of these other former contestants just don't want to show up on the beach, because maybe they already have their influencer thing going on. We all know Paradise is your audition to be an influencer part 2 if you didn't get to become one on The Bachelorette. So a lot of these names are very unforgettable, which makes me not super excited, but I will say I am excited to see Tammy. I know she is a firecracker. I know she will stir things up. And McKenna and her had a huge feud on Peter's season, so I'm ready for round 2.
Yeah, that is a good point. It's funny. You're excited for Tammy. I remember not liking Tammy that much. I did like McKenna at the time. I couldn't even remember who Victoria P was at first, but now I'm like, okay, the nurse. So I don't know. I'm really not sure if I'm excited about this group or not for Peter's season. What about you, Avery?
No, not this group. I mean, I'm excited for the Tammy and McKenna drama, but as for everyone else, like, these names barely rang a bell to me. When I did look the list up, I realized like maybe 1 or 2 of these girls went home night 1. So like you said, Zach, I feel like this is the re-audition to make a name for themselves again onto the show. But hopefully as time goes on, you know, they bring in more people. Maybe we'll get the bigger names throughout the show.
That's true. That's true. This could just be Steve's sort of like initial batch of Peter girls. Maybe we will get Hannah Ann on the beach after all. We're going to move on to some guys. We have a pretty decent group from Claire and Tayshia's season. We're going to have Noah, Chris, Ivan, Chasen, Joe, Kenny, and Damar. More excited, at least on my end, about these guys. I'm really excited to see Ivan again. I'm really excited to get to know Joe. I really like Damar. Like, this is a better group, at least my take. Avery, what do you think?
Oh, yes. This is a way better group. I'm at least familiar with all these names. So excited to see Ivan. So excited to see Noah. And I hope that means they'll hopefully bring Bennett on later. Kenny was pretty cool. I'm excited to get to know him more. Chasen, I feel like he'll definitely bring some drama because he was a little bit problematic. And Joe, we did not get enough of Joe. We barely even got to know his story. I remember we finally realized he was kind of funny. Like, I saw him do something like humorous and then he was eliminated. So I'm excited to get to know Joe more as well.
Yes.
Yeah, Zachary, any of these guys exciting you?
I mean, Ivan is definitely like awesome. So happy he's there. I'm happy to see Noah. Like Avery said, we definitely need Bennett, but where is Ben Smith? Remember Ben? He got 2nd place on Tayshia's season. Why was he not there? Where is Riley? I want to know where all these other guys are. I definitely do not care to see Kenny at all. Was not a fan. Chasen is definitely there for the Instagram followers and for the girls. So I think that he will fit right in and really carry the show. And then there was a couple other guys who were a little bit irrelevant, but you know what? Let them have their second chance. I know that there was a lot going on behind the scenes in regards to other contestants not feeling comfortable going. So I think that Paradise is kind of just taking who they can get.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we do get any more guys from the Tayshia Claire season in the mix, because technically there are also the guys from Katie's season, which Steve says,
Hmm.
we're going to be getting some, but he doesn't have that list for us yet. So it will be interesting to see how that mix of guys balances out. We have one more little roundup of girls, and those would be the ladies of Matt James's season. Those are going to be Mari, Abigail, Jasenia, Alana, Chelsea, Serena P, Serena C, and Zachary, just for you, Queen Victoria. I know you were
Queen
pulling for
Vic.
this, so
Mhm.
what are your reactions to the Matt girls, Zachary?
I think this is a lot better of a group. I think we have our A team here. For the most part, I would have liked to see Piper, as you know, I know Avery would as well, and Kit would have been awesome. But Queen Victoria is ready to shut this place down. We got Queen Vic. She's going to show up with multiple thrones, multiple men carrying her in, maybe a crown and a tiara, possibly a whole castle. Like, you never know what's going to happen with Queen Vic. I think she's going to make great TV. So I know a lot of people aren't here for it, but I certainly am. We got the Serenas. I would have liked to see MJ there just to kind of relive the Jasenia MJ fight. I just love a round two more than anything else. Are you guys
Mm-hmm.
on the same page with me? Or we need a round two, but this is definitely a lot better of a group. And Abigail is there. Like, that's literally all I needed.
I do love round two. I have to say, I don't know if I'm ready. Round two, I know you. Round two of Victoria, optimistic. Avery, what are your thoughts on Matt James's girls?
Yes, I agree with you, Zach. This is definitely the A team. These are more people we wanted to see. We have both Serenas. Chelsea, I'm so excited to learn more about her. I loved her. We didn't see a lot of her. Queen Abigail. Abigail's the real queen. I'm so excited to see her and Victoria just for, obviously the drama. But Mari was so beautiful. She barely even spoke Matt James's season, but I'm going to call it right now. I could see her and DeMar as a couple. Oh, I also forgot to mention I'm super excited for DeMar because he was fun and he's from Scottsdale. But I feel like that's already a match, so I just want to call it right now. DeMar and Mari in Paradise.
Ooh, I love that. All right, well,
Okay.
only time will tell. Now I'm like, okay, hang on, the wheels are turning. Who could we put
Mhm.
together? We'll have to do a whole other predictions video on that, you guys. We want to know your thoughts, anyone tuning in live with us, on this initial Bachelor in Paradise casting list. Do you like it? Who were you missing? Who are you hoping to see on it? Let us know in the chat. Of course, there was some other pretty major news this week, the Chris Harrison bomb, so we got to get into that as well. Of course, the news broke that Chris is done with the franchise for good. You guys, now that we've had some time to process, just sit with this, to get all those feels out, how
Mhm.
are you doing, Avery? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you pissed? What are your thoughts?
I'm fine. After watching the first episode, I have to say, in my opinion, he wasn't that missed just because I kind of totally forgot about it and the show took on a whole new turn with Caitlyn and Tayshia. It felt fun. It felt fresh. It felt different. And after seeing that, it feels like it was time. I feel like Chris was great at what he did and what he does, but after a while, it was getting kind of dry, and the show seems to be taking a new take on things, and I feel like Caitlyn and Tayshia matched that perfectly.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Zachary, what are your thoughts?
I think Caitlyn and Tasha are doing a really good job so far, and I'm totally here for that. And I'm totally here for Chris taking a break. I am actually really sad and upset that he's gone for good, especially on This Way. I grew up watching the show, I've been watching it since I was a kid. So Chris really brings up a lot of nostalgia and memories for me. It actually makes me so emotional when I was reading a lot of the comments under Chris's Instagram. A lot of the former contestants that I grew up watching even, commented from way back in the day, really upset for Chris. Emily Maynard said that she wishes Chris was on a yacht in the south of France while he was writing this caption. A lot of the OGs really wanted to thank Chris, and I know we're going to get more into it, for all of his work, because he wasn't just a host. He really was, a a friend. He was the staple of the show. He was so much more than a host, and I don't feel like a lot of the new watchers really understand that because he's been around for so long. So I definitely was on board for him taking a break. But I'm really, really upset to see him go down this way.
Yeah, and Zachary, if you want to, I know Rachel Lindsay commented on the news. If you want to give us those details, I feel like you could really get into it. I'm going to refresh you guys because I'm having some technical difficulties. Right back, but get into the Rachel Lindsay of it all because it's very
okay. Yeah, we will. A lot of the contestants from Bachelor in just the Bachelor alumni overall had a lot of words to say about Chris leaving the show. You know, Ashley I was very upset. Ari, Jason Mesnick, Jason Tardik, Caitlin Bristow said that nobody could do the job just quite like Chris. And Caitlin is the one that was replacing Chris last season or this season. So a lot of the contestants are really trying to have his back. Avery, what are your thoughts about all the contestants supporting him or former contestants?
I agree with them. You know, no one can do it like him. And it still honestly hasn't set in with me that it's long term because as the show goes on, you know, maybe this can't last forever. But I do have an issue with the way he like went away and how this all went down, like kind of getting paid off to be silenced. I wish things could have been worked out differently. But it is, at the end of the day, still kind of a messy situation because the show will never be the same. And now he's just walking away from it with all this money, but no longer holds the position. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to adjust to this. Like, I'm adjusting in Katie's season, but I'm really not thinking long term how or what they're going to do. But it's a sad situation.
Yeah, and it was also reported that Chris got a huge 8-figure check to leave the franchise. Some people are saying 10 million, some people are saying 25 million. So Fiona, I'm glad that you are back. What were your thoughts on Chris taking all this money home?
Oh my God, that settlement is crazy. But you know what? And I sort of caught a little bit of what you guys were saying at the end there. The thing is, Chris Harrison was obviously contracted on the show. They're going to do long-term contracts with him, right? So they have to make it worth his while to, I'm assuming, essentially not only buy out that contract, but also keep his mouth shut. If they actually don't want him to write the tell-all book that he could write with 19 years of dirt on this franchise, then they've got to make it worth his while. So while it's a crazy thing to think of like an 8-figure check, I also kind of feel like this has gotten so messy, so out of control. I kind of get it to a certain degree. I do want to get into, I'm not sure what you guys were chatting about while I disappeared for a second, so you'll have to fill me in. Did we get into what Rachel Lindsay shared on Extra? Did you guys talk about that yet? Because it is pretty interesting.
No, we have not.
Okay, so let's talk about that because aside from all of the, Chris payout stuff and the shock of it all, which I know we've covered, we are starting to get some pretty concrete reactions from members of Bachelor Nation. On Extra, Rachel Lindsay revealed that she's shocked. She said, I wasn't expecting for it to happen, not after the announcement. And she publicly kind of wondered on who it was that made this decision. She said, quote, it's been 19 years, and if you do watch the show, we saw less and less of Chris. 19 years is a big accomplishment. Maybe that's the case. We don't know. Maybe they were ready to move on. Maybe Chris wanted to move on after all of this. So pretty interesting, I feel like, to hear her take, just because, hello, the elephant in the room is, had that Extra interview between her and Chris not have happened, we don't even know where we'd be right now. We don't know what we'd be talking about. Chris could be on here for another 15 years. It's all so up in the air. Avery, what do you think of her response here? What do you make of this sort of question she's posing?
She does make a point. As the seasons went on, we did start to see less and less of him, but I originally thought like he wanted to stay, and I figured that the franchise wanted him to stay as well. But now, taking all of this into account and considering how he got paid off to basically leave, it seems like they were ready to move on, and I feel like they thought it was probably the best thing to do after all of this and in this time. So to me, it's looking like the franchise wanted it more than him, and they both kind of got their happy medium now with him getting paid off to leave and them not having him there anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Zachary, I know you were mentioning that a lot of people were sending Chris love, a lot of members of Bachelor Nation, especially on Instagram after Chris shared that post confirming his departure. I mean, we saw Peter Weber write a whole long thing. I'm just going to read a quick sentence from it. Thank you, Chris, for your mentorship, for having an impact on so many. The show will never be the same. We have Colton Underwood saying, grade A human being. Thank you for being a friend and a stand-up guy. We have Ashley I saying, thank you for all the years of hard work. I mean, I could go on. JoJo, Kelly Flanagan, Ari, Becca. I mean, so many more, you guys. If you look at that comment section, it really is crazy. And then we had Caitlin Bristow, who, of course, stepped up into his role for Katie's season. She wrote, you are truly irreplaceable as a host. Thank you for all the years you put into the show and making it what it is. No one does it quite like Mr. Chris Harrison. So Zachary, I mean, for Caitlin to make, the public stance that nobody can step into his shoes while literally stepping into his shoes, I mean, people are really rallying behind him in this moment. What do you think that has to say about Chris?
I think it really shows what a great guy he was. He wasn't just a host. He really was almost like a father figure to a lot of these people. And I do not think that Chris wanted to leave, especially on these terms. I really think that Chris was planning on riding this show out until the end. I think that, and there's a lot of speculation online. I think that because it got so messy with the money and the lawyers and when is he coming back and like the public image and everything, then it was like, all right, now this is too much of a mess. Now there's our feelings are involved and it's just not possible anymore with all the fans who are turned away. So I don't think Chris wanted to leave. I think he was really invested in the franchise. And I think that a lot of people really had great experiences with him being a host. I think most of the people did. But obviously all good things come to an end.
Yeah, it's definitely very interesting. We're going to be talking about this, I'm sure, for the weeks to come, because at the end of the day, whether or not Chris was coming back was just one of the many questions that we didn't have answers to. So we've still got questions, you guys. We've still got a lot to talk about, in reference to the whole future of the franchise. Let us know your thoughts. How are you guys feeling? I know we've had a few days now with this Chris news. So let us know in the chat where you stand on the Chris decision. We're going to move on from Chris, though, because we've got to talk Katie's season, you guys. We are in the thick of it. It is finally here. And ABC has released some new details about what's to come in week 2. They've released the official synopsis, which, you guys, it's so cheesy, but honestly, if we really dissect it, you can pull out some good clues. So this is what ABC says is coming. This jam-packed week, we will give the suitors a literal wake-up call, take Katie and one lucky man on a charmingly special camping date, and even beg the question, who is the greatest lover of all time? But with all that fun, there's bound to be drama as nerves unravel, and Katie is forced to question who is truly here for the right reasons. So, what stands out to me, you guys, camping date, greatest lover of all time, and some drama, right? I mean, they're throwing some buzzwords our way. We do have a little clip of the teaser of the trailer for next week, which will bring, I think, some of this synopsis to life, give us a better picture. So before we dive in for your thoughts, I do want to just try and roll this clip if we can, because I think it will paint quite the picture. There's a lot of craziness to come. I mean, obviously their outfits right here, they look fabulous, but you guys, I feel like it's going to be a really wild week, all things considered. Here we go.
Hi guys! Where's my date?
Katie, we're coming!
Gonna get crazy.
Yes.
All right, so obviously that mud wrestling is coming this week. We're going full cowboy. What are your thoughts based on the synopsis, based on what we're seeing here? It feels like it's going to be a pretty fun week too, Zachary.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're getting out of their kind of little bit of a bubble because, the last 2 seasons, they've been in quarantine with Matt James and Tayshia, so they haven't really been able to travel. So it looks like they're at least able to leave the resort and go on a little camping trip. So I think it will be fun. And this is where Katie's going to really see, the guys' bodies. They're taking their shirts off. They're getting muddy. They're wrestling. We're going to see who's strong, who knows how to fight for her. I think it's going to be a really good episode, and I'm looking forward to the abs.
Same. And this isn't the only wild looking group date. There is another. We got some more photos, and it looks like comedian Heather McDonald is going to be coming to sort of participate in the date. She's hilarious, you guys. And there's sort of a bedroom set up. There's like, she's on a stage, it looks like. There's a bed. There's another group of men there. So I have to assume, let me go back to the synopsis, that has something to do with the question of who is the greatest lover of all time. They just seem to be really going there with these dates. Avery, are you excited? Does this does this look fun to you, or is it freaking you out?
No, this looks so fun. I love when like the wrestling and the fighting begins, because that's when the bickering begins. You know, they all get so riled up, especially after being cooped up in that bubble. Like the testosterone is raging. So something's bound to happen. My guess it will probably be with Aaron, which was the guy who randomly started to fight the guy who brought Sandy on last episode. And I just saw a clip of him in this again, fighting and getting really aggressive. So it always leads to more drama, which I'm here for. And for the bedroom setting, I wonder if that's going to be some type of skit, because I love when they have those types of dates, because we really get to see personality and what the guys can come up with. And that always leads to a little more romance or something super cringy. So I'm really excited.
I'm so with you. I like immediately went to, I wonder if they're going to make them act something out, because it can be such, like, I always put myself in that position. I would be panicking in the bathroom trying to figure something out. So I love to see what the guys can do when they're under that kind of pressure. Let's go back to, they mentioned somebody's going to get to go on a camping date. Yeah, a charmingly special camping date is how they describe what's going to be the first one-on-one. Who do you guys think that's going to be? Just some early predictions. I mean, Greg, Connor, do you think it'll go to somebody else? Zachary, who's your pick?
I mean, I think Greg is kind of like the obvious fan fave because he got the first impression rose, but you know, she doesn't want to give, you know, Greg the first date if she already is sure about him. So I think it might go to John. You know, he seemed like a front runner already based on the first episode. He had romantic music. They had a great connection. So I think John might get the first one-on-one date. What about you, Avery?
Good pick.
I was thinking John too, just because, you know, the edit and the music, and he kind of seems like a front runner, but we still haven't seen that much of him. Or I was thinking maybe Justin, because he got the first kiss and she wants a little more. So maybe Justin.
I actually really like those, you guys. I do agree with you. It feels like Greg is the easiest answer, but typically the easiest answer isn't the correct answer when it comes to the Bachelor franchise. Let us know, you guys, in the chat who your picks are, who you think is going to get that coveted first one-on-one date spot. And while you're at it, if you haven't sent us your questions, your comments, make sure you do. We're going to dive into the chat very shortly here, so we want to hear from you. Any questions you have, any thoughts you have can be on anything we covered today. We're going to try to get to as many of them as possible. And you guys, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do, because we're going to be going live all of Katie's season, and also just, you know, in general, covering all of Bachelor Nation news, because there's truly so much to talk about each week. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you ring the bell. Katie's season so far. It looks like I might be freezing up a little bit here. Let me refresh my connection, you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take over for you because we got some questions and some comments coming. And Leo says, I saw Zachary had met Katie in person. How was it? Yes, so I got to meet Katie last weekend. She came to this like pop-up shop. There was like a truck in Santa Monica on the 3rd Street Promenade. Katie was doing some promo, so I got to go meet her. And it was so cool. Katie is literally the sweetest person ever. She's very down to earth. She's very humble. She doesn't necessarily seem like she cares that much about all of the hype and the cameras and like the celebrity status that comes from being on the show. She really is just a down to earth, cool chick. And she was saying hi to everyone, handing out roses. So I'm really happy that I got to meet her. And I feel like we're kind of friends now.
Literally the coolest. Such cute pics too. You killed it. That was so fun.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to jump back in. Cheryl says she loves Abigail and that she cannot wait to see her fall in love. Yes, Abigail was definitely one that I think all of us were going to be very,
For
very
sure.
disappointed if she was not in paradise. And I'm really, really glad she's there. I just hope that there's a guy there for her because I do not want to see her get her heart broken again. I mean, Avery, I remember when we talked about
too.
how devastated we were to see her sad on Matt's season. I do not want to go through that again.
I can't handle that.
Absolutely not. I'm starting to think Ivan would be a good contender for her. I feel like he's such a good, solid man, and she needs the best of the best. So I'm gonna go team Ivan and Abigail right now.
You're so good at this. These instant matchups in paradise, Avery.
You heard it here first
Yeah,
from
but
Avery.
once they get there, who knows what direction it will go. It's always something crazy and very random at the end of the day. But Ben said, still laughing about RV guy, on what planet does a grubby trailer and celery sticks scream, I'm a catch? I cannot agree with you more, Ben. The RV was one thing, but when he had like the little vegetable mix and some dips in there, I was like, oh no, we didn't need this in there. He didn't even clean the place, and then he had the audacity to munch on a celery stick while he's trying to converse with Katie. It wasn't charming at all.
No. Like, could he be any less attractive after that scene? Like, I don't really know what he was trying to do there. So I'm glad that he went home, and hopefully he can drive that RV all the way to paradise, because maybe there'll be someone there for him. But Angela is saying, Queen Victoria, oh no, she really needs to go somewhere. I can't stand that girl. Okay, come on, guys. Queen Victoria brings the drama. She brings the show. I understand she was kind of a mean girl in some aspects last season, but I think we need to remember, guys, we're watching a TV show, and she really is trying to be entertaining for the TV show. So I hope that you guys can give her a chance. Sometimes these villains go to paradise and they kind of have their like redemption story. So if you don't like Victoria after paradise, I understand, but maybe just try and give her a chance with this new season, because maybe she'll surprise you.
I'm going to try Zachary for you.
Okay.
And only for you.
Thank you.
I'm going to try.
I get it. I get it. Oh.
Christine says, I missed Chris last night. You know what? I know a lot of people did, and my heart goes out to you, Christine. I have to say, I actually really enjoyed Caitlyn and Tayshia, but I had a feeling from the moment that they were announced that I was going to like them, because I like them as individuals. I thought they'd vibe well with Katie, and I was really excited about the girl power energy. So I totally understand this is going to be a tough adjustment for a lot of people. Chris was great at his job, so I think his presence is definitely going to be missed. I just hope that it doesn't ruin the season for you, you know? I hope you enjoy it overall anyways.
Yes. Take
Cheryl
it away,
said,
Avery.
I want to know where all the bodies are buried. What bodies?
Me too. That Chris Harrison
Bachelor
knows
bodies.
all the tea. Yeah, he knows all the tea of the show. And people want him to,
I know.
do a tell-all.
I wish we would. Yeah, I wish we could hear his side, but he got hushed by all the money that they gave him. So I guess we'll never know.
I guess we'll never know. You guys know that little TikTok?
I guess
we'll never know. But it really sucks that it really sucks that Chris can't share his side of the story in some capacity. Like, obviously he doesn't want to throw the franchise under the bus. We don't want that, but I would like to just hear him really just share somewhat of his side of the story. But I guess 20 million or 10 million or 50 million would probably shut me up too. So Cheryl, I think we're going to have to be waiting for a little bit longer before we get the tea. Charleston says, Abigail and Matt Donald. Matt from Hannah's season, he knows sign language. Ooh, that could be a good teaser. You know, we don't have any of the guys from Hannah's season that we know are going to be there. We only really got a short list that is all speculation from Tayshia's season. So I don't really know, but I think that might be a good pick. I hope we get a few throwbacks from Hannah's season and maybe a couple other seasons before. So it's not just like all the super new people, but we'll have to wait and see. We know Abigail deserves the absolute best. I was actually shipping her with Mike Johnson because remember that picture we talked about a few weeks ago when they were like kind of canoodling, but I guess Mike isn't going to go to Paradise. He's too good for Paradise. Like he'll probably be the Bachelor possibly one day if ABC ever wakes up, but clearly they're not super good at making decisions recently.
Oh my God, Zachary, I love it. I mean, yeah, I definitely want someone amazing for Abigail. I do think that Ivan, I like can't get that out of my head. I think that Ivan is like worthy. Not that the other guys aren't, but so far from that list,
No one's
he's one of
worthy.
the guys that that just seems really like on her level. So very excited to see if there's anything there. Ben says, glad Abigail is on the list. Terrific low girl. Will be interesting to see whether Queen Vic has changed her ways. It will be interesting. I mean, let's face it, there are a lot of girls from that season that are going to be on that beach. And remember the Women Tell All? I mean, there was so much trauma that kind of crossed into toxic drama that I'm sure was very hard to, of course, watch back. There has definitely been some time. Time heals all wounds. But I wouldn't be shocked if some of the girls on that beach are apprehensive to sort of like share a cocktail with her and do the girly gossip dish. They might really want to keep their distance, which inevitably will just create more drama. So I get, Zachary, why you want her there. It is built in good TV, no questions asked. I just hope the whole season doesn't become following the storylines of drama again. But only time will tell. You guys, unfortunately, those are all the questions and comments we have time for today. Thank you so much for tuning in live with us. Major apologies about some of these technical difficulties, but we're live. We're doing our best. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on everything going on in Bachelor Nation. And of course, if you're not already subscribed, make sure you do. Make sure you ring that bell because like I said, we'll be covering it all 24/7 here on Shared News. As always, I am your host, Fiona Zaring, joined by Avery Grooms and Zachary Reality. If you want to come say hi, check out our socials. They are on the screen right now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in live with us, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.